Hi, race fans. Welcome live tonight here. Unusual style track to be running at Kentucky, kind of Kentucky Speedway, but it's not the Kentucky Speedway that we're normally used to seeing. It's kind of a Nashville style speedway. Actually, I say Kentucky Nashville Speedway. It's a really short track. But really quick before we get gridded here, folks, we want to take a moment of silence, and we're really going to take a moment of silence while these guys grid up. For one of the members here at the Great Lakes Truck Series, and unfortunately he's battling with cancer, but on top of the cancer, obviously we know the pandemic going on, has got the COVID also, and it's kind of a double whammy. I mean, one's about as bad as the other, I guess, there, but you put both of them together, it's really a double whammy. He's not doing so well. Matthew Main, and we've not seen him in a while, and I guess now we know. So definitely our thoughts and prayers are out there, and we want to take a moment of silence here and kind of dedicate this. We're going to let him grid and take the first several laps here in silence for Matthew Main. Folks, keep him in your thoughts and prayers out there. So this is for you, Matthew, if you're listening, and your family members out there, man. We're thinking about you. All right, folks, we're back here. Like I said, just had a little moment of silence there. As the green flag flies. We're racing here at Nashville, and this is going to be a unique place because it's a short track. I don't think I've ever done a NASCAR-style race here, broadcasted-wise. I know they've run them here before in the past. I don't think they do them in real life anymore. But this place, so I don't really know a lot about it, and I don't really know what the characteristics of the trucks will be here. From looking at it, though, right now it looks like it's going to be kind of a single file groove, and probably a really hard place to pass. And just looking at some of the trucks coming off the turns there, Alex, it's already looking like some of them, maybe with that bump there, might get a little upset.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Joe. I don't know nothing about this track. Like just looking it up earlier, seeing how they stopped racing here in 1984 with NASCAR, the top three series being the Cup Series, the Xfinity, and the trucks. So
see the replay right there. What happened? Oh, was a good move by the Hooter car there. Ow. So 84 is when they stopped, huh? It's been a long time then. I wonder what the track does now.
If you give me just a second, I can give you that answer.
All right. Well, while he's looking that up, our folks, we're in the caution here. And, obviously, like I said, a little short track racing here tonight. Kind of along those lines where Bristol is and whatnot. Tire limits tonight. We got 5 sets, so some wisely out here. I think tires will be the biggest factor as the race goes on, more so than fuel. 50% fuel, but the fuel windows I don't think it's going to be the key. I think it's going to be tires and track position tonight.
All right, Joe, I got this for you.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm just going to read for the 2010s.
Okay.
The last decade, as we turn the decade into the new one. I just noticed that. Jeez. It says the Arca Menards series has visited the venue since 2015 with a 200-lap race. And also the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series covers this track in dirt for a track themselves. So there's still some activity going on here.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know. I've heard there might be talks on trying to get it back up. I don't recall if it was this one, the Fairgrounds, or Nashville Super Speedway, or if they're even the same thing. I don't think they are.
Hard telling.
But I remember reading an article or two about them trying to resurrect it in NASCAR. So that'd be pretty sweet. Seeing racing, I mean, I know you got Bristol, not too far away, that being in Tennessee as well.
Absolutely.
But we're going back green now.
That green flag's back at it again. You see him 3 wide right there. Talking about the 3rd place spot. That puts Sam, Elliott, and Frederick. And, you know, the biggest thing about this track, it's going to be very difficult to pass. You see they're already getting single file. I think it definitely is going to allude to being a one-groove track as tires and laps goes on, especially if they have longer green flag runs. So you're going to have to get everything you can early on at this place. And that's probably going to be to lead to a little bit of aggressiveness at the start. But, you know, right there you see them already slipping and sliding. So trucks are definitely not planted to the ground here.
Another thing I just thought about when you said those long green flag runs, Joe, was that lap traffic will play a factor, I believe. Usually these guys are pretty on top of it. If I recall correctly, we had an incident at Daytona with a guy coming off pit road and he just went up the backstretch a little too high, took out the leaders, if I remember that correctly. So I think those lap cars, we got that truck right there scraping on the wall a little bit. I think those lap cars and the people passing them are all going to have to be on the top of their driving this evening here at this track.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, right now looking pretty good as you got Nathan and them back there. So the battle around about 12th place spot. You see Eric Kemp right there along with them. Scoot up underneath them. Brandon Perkuski, the mix there too. Got a few battles going on, here and there throughout the field. That's kind of what it is, kind of settling this thing in. Oh, 71 is around, and it's gonna pile up in the back. Who's that? That's Ty. Caution's out. He had it saved for a minute. I can see what happened.
Yeah, looks like he saved it pretty good. But then he just took that bad bounce off the wall and kind of came back into traffic a little bit. There he goes, and
Got a little help. Well,
coming in.
got bump and run style right there a little bit.
Yeah, he just kind of came back down and
Nowhere to go here.
yeah, a couple of guys just got caught in the mix, unfortunately. It seems like that seems to be a common factor with us here. That a lot of guys have nowhere to go, and unfortunately that's a result.
Well, this track is just so, it's narrow. It's obviously a lot narrow, and just once you get guys spinning and closing up, a lot of holes. Not a lot you can do. I'm caution here, though. Great Lakes Truck Series here, Knoxville Speedway. Track racing action here tonight. And probably got a feeling what's usually the course to these races. A few cautions early on to get them kind of settled down, and then they'll have long green flag runs, and then who knows at the end.
Yeah, the end's always our question mark. I mean, pretty much a whole race from now on is the question mark, I guess. But no, I don't know kind of what to I haven't really pegged this track yet after the half of it being green, half of it being under caution pretty much it seems like right now, but haven't really pegged it for how it kind of feels like or how it's kind of looking.
I got you.
But these guys are taking some chances and they're getting a little squirrely, so we'll see how that plays out for the remainder of this race, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, got going on here because it's a good one so far. We got Daniel Nanny out front leading it. Folks, who's your favorite drivers out there? Let me know. Who you pulling for? Got Austin there sitting in second. Obviously, Jake Miller and Elliott Henderson, we know them too. Samuel hanging on to fifth. Got a good slew here now. You fast guys here, but again, very tough place to pass. Very, very, very careful here.
Yeah, and I know how you said that everyone had those 5 sets of tires being that. So I do think tires will play a pretty decent major factor here, as it usually does on these shorter tracks. I mean, this is a half-mile track, so it doesn't have the feel of maybe a Bristol or a Martinsville, which pretty much everyone here knows about. It's got a different look and feel, it looks like, to either of those. I don't know what to put it up comparison wise to.
I'm not sure because you got the bank in there in the turns and you can see it kind of levels off coming into it kind of flattens out going into the front and the back stretch. With that flattening out though, that does remind me of kind of what Dover does. Dover doesn't 100% flatten in the straightaways, but it not as banked in the turns. And what that does is it causes kind of like a hump or so forth. But as we go back green, Samuel's going to see if he can't get what he can get up front here. He'll fall back in line. Go back here around about 12th place spot before you get like 2 and 3 wide racing back here. And I don't know about 3 wide there though. And you already see trucks in the wall just slamming.
Yeah, the rate these guys are going, I don't know how many of these guys are going to be left. Because we got more guys bumping on the wall back there. Jeez Louise.
Dave was around and, he's going to back up on the track and it causes a yellow dog. I know as soon as he backed up on the track, yellow out. We're slowing the pace down just a little bit here, but that's all right. What we got?
Yeah, I mean, we saw in that maybe 10, 15 seconds, maybe not even 10 seconds or so. You saw those 2 trucks bumping each other, hitting the wall.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit right behind them, you got that other group. And then out the blue, This guy's putting it in reverse, Terry. But oh yeah, I think people are still trying to get a feel. I don't know how common of a track this is to race at on iRacing. So that could play a huge factor here. Just experience at the track. Because I remember seeing in the chat, some guys don't even have it. Some of the guys that won't be here tonight just because they don't have it. So that might just put it in a little bit of perspective for me for how popular this track kind of is, you know?
Well, and you got to look, they do have the one fast fix. So, you know, that's good. So if you do get caught up in a mess or something like that, you're definitely going to be able to use that and get out of trouble.
I thought Austin, right? That's his name, Austin Miller. In second. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name's Austin. Shout out, good name. One of my good buddies named Austin. Good name.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't even know where the entrance to pit road is here.
I don't either.
I think it's off going into 3.
I'm with you. I'm 100%. We'll find out here, though.
But I don't know if it's a wraparound. I don't know.
How big did you say the track? Yeah, it is wraparound. Yeah.
See,
It'd have to be.
I don't
It would
know
have
this
to be.
track.
It would have to be. How big is the track again?
Half a mile.
We'll find out here in a second.
0.596
Well, half mile. No, it ain't. No. One side. It's probably right there on the limit of being a wraparound, because I think Martinsville. Wait, Martinsville half mile?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, and I guess it's all about the design, you know. Track looks bigger than Martinsville, though, don't it?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, that's why I'm so confused, because I don't know this track.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, you know, we'll learn as the race goes on, and looks like we got Chris Heller's out there. Oh, okay, so Chris Heller, he's pulling for Christopher Heller, which is Chris Jr. I think we went over this one time before. I think that's the dad out there talking, and the son, I'm gonna say, junior, senior. Either way, Christopher's hanging on the 10th. Green flag. We're back racing. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, out there, Chris. I always still love to see the family members out there pulling for their great teams and great drivers. Look at this 3 wide mess up here. Oh, boy. Whew, a little nervous right there.
Yeah, you can just see right there. Those guys doesn't look like they're trying to keep that going for very long. Just looking right there as you're looking from Eric Kep's view right here on the 26, just how like bumpy it looks.
It is, and it's that transition from going from that banking down into the the front and the back stretch, and that's where you're gonna upset these cars. It reminds me a lot about Rockingham right there too. Very bumpy going into the turns. And you got to have some good throttle control and be very, very smooth. And we're seeing a lot of drivers start to lose it. Wouldn't take much. Free Pete.
Yeah,
Hashtag free. What do you mean free Pete? What's Pete do? What?
I thought.
What do you mean free Pete? Well, Pete's out here. He's right here.
Yeah, I
free
think Pete got pushed to the end of the line for this one.
Ah, the duck truck. Uh-oh, Nathan Nix is around. Let's go back and watch replay. But hashtag free Pete. I don't know. Should have said hashtag free the duck. Oh, man. And I'll tell you what, Nathan took a hard slam into the wall. Destroyed that truck. But
yeah, that was
funny.
Toast.
Free Pete. Good grief.
That's hilarious. Oh, goodness.
Who had that on the back of their truck?
Cody Williams, number 26, I believe.
Cody? Oh, look at his truck. Get it from here. There it is. Yep, Cody, get up there. Look it from his on board. It says, hashtag free Pete. It's got the duck. Just that hashtag free the duck. Truck. What'd Pete do? We gotta get some investigative. Chris said, yeah, that's my boy. Yeah. And then Sam comes in. So here we go. We got dad war going on in the chat. We got the dad. I guess it's the dads out there. And unless that is actually Sam himself talking, but I don't think it is, because Sam said go Sammy, and Sammy would be Samuel. There you go. But we need some investigative reporting here on what's the deal with the hashtag free Pete here. Some inside thing going on. All right.
Yeah, it looks like, from what I'm seeing right here, from last week's race at Homestead, the duck truck got sent to the end of the line.
Ah, okay. What'd he do? Whack at somebody?
It says lap 98, number 20, that's a duck truck. Everybody knows now the number associated with the duck truck is 20. Comes down on the 23, end of line is decision.
Okay.
So after some investigative reporting on the admin's part, they determined that he would be sent to the back of
okay.
his field.
Bad duck. Bad duck.
Yeah, we're going to have to muzzle that duck.
Yeah, bad duck. Good one so far, though. Yep, dad. There you go. So we got Sam and Chris's dads out there watching them. And right now, we've got Samuel. He's hanging on to 5th. We don't want to jinx him too much, because we always give him that broadcaster jinx. Next thing you know, boom, they'll be in the wall somewhere. Christopher hanging on to the 12th place spot. Good deal. Good one so far.
I also just noticed that Jake Miller got up to 2nd during that little run.
Trying to work his way up.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I should look up what the record for the most cautions at this track is.
Green flag, we're back racing. Oh, look at this pack up here. All these restarts make you nervous because the guys get about 2 or 3 wide. But you was talking about up here, but look out, here comes Frederick. He's going to give Jake a hard time, and you can see that truck of Jake just can't hold down low. It wants to dive up the track and get a little loose there.
Yeah, I've been looking at the different grooves that people are taking. I was like, okay, half a mile.
Yellow out.
Oh, jeez.
Marty.
What for?
Marty. Or I'm going to say Marty's. I hope that's how it says his name. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Bump caught him right there, and the truck on the inside just got up into him. That's a perfect example. We're talking about right there. Kind of truck looked like it just kind of upset. Oh, boom. Well, this place has proven to be a tough one.
I was going to say is, being from a driver's perspective, I can probably feel some frustration. I wouldn't say some, I'd probably say a boatload of frustration, as Elliott actually decides to stay out as the other leaders decide to come down. or some of them. But I can understand some feelings of frustration, especially with all of these cautions. As you got Sam Hoff, Senior, the first. Just kidding. I have the first patented for my name, so copyright infringement happens. So, but that's all me. So Sam Hoff on YouTube is saying, "Come on, boys, stay green. Too much of a parade today." Look, parades are cool sometimes, but we want to be green.
On that right there, and I agree with him. I mean, obviously, you know, this track is definitely not 100% sure. I don't know if they vote on their tracks each season, but maybe if they do, maybe this is one of the tracks, you know, after a while you just vote right on out, you know, because they don't really run on these in real life. There's not really a setup, so not 100% sure. There's just some tracks that are just treacherous as opposed to others. And you can see it right now. Not very, very. This is a tough place to get around. I would have just as much trouble as they would. I mean, I gotta agree. And you can see most of these cautions have been coming out of the turns, and it's where I pretty much we've been showing. It's right there where those bumps are, and I think it's going to be kind of the norm to the night.
Yeah, hopefully these guys can. It's just these, like you said before, it's just these restarts. They are crazy. And I think if they get a couple, maybe a dozen, 10 or a dozen laps or so in, then people will be a little bit more spread out and we won't see as much issues. But maybe it's this double file that's messing a lot of stuff up right here.
Well, it's like I said before too, and with this place, once they get going, it will tend to go single file. So you basically got to get everything you can early, and that's what I'm saying is you're going to be a little aggressive early on. Now what's going to happen here is you've got guys on new tires and you got guys on old tires, and then you got guys like up front here with Brandon Pekuski and all sliding and hitting the wall, and then Marty goes around. That started up front.
Yeah, I think that started from fifth place or something like that.
Marty slowed down, and then I'm not sure.
God, that 36 is just a magnet for stuff tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Marty. Just kind of slowed down, and next thing you know, boom. But you know, here's the thing. Now you're gonna have guys on new tires, guys on old tires. That's really going to be a mixture for excitement. I'll say it that way, because you'll have guys coming through the field. But when you come through the field, you got to be patient. And the best way to be patient at a track like this is, one, you got to understand that the restarts. Yes, you're going to try to go side by side and do it, but you also got to understand that going side by side is not the way to get around this place. Picking them off one by one. So if you know you're on older tires, I would avoid doing that off the start, unless the guy in front of you is just extremely slow. But I would avoid doing that off the start, and I would kind of just wait till maybe it got single file a little bit, and then utilize those new tires and start picking them off one by one. I mean, that to me would be the better strategy, and then trying to get everything you can as soon as the green flag drops, because that's where a little bit of overdriving happens. And I'm be honest with you, that's just drivers' mentality. That's just racers. You know that, Alex. I mean, hey, racers want to get to the front as quick as they possibly can, but sometimes you got to be a little calm, a little patient.
You're gonna make me say it. You're gonna make me say it. It's a game of patience and chest.
Hey, there you go.
And you lose your composure, you're gonna do one thing, and you're done.
And you're right. You're right. That's it's one thing you don't want to have happen. You don't want to, take yourself out of the race.
Quick shout out from myself to Dave Nestor in the 36, who it seems like everything just happens and you just get caught up in everything this evening. So sorry, bro. It's just unfortunate. And a nice looking Cheez-It machine too.
There you go.
But the P truck's at 5th.
Oh, he's got it back up there, so he's breaking out right now. So we have to go back green.
Maybe Pete's been free.
Green right now.
Yeah, that's an end of the line to 5th. Talk about moving.
Green flag, green flag.
Flag flies at it.
Also, though, another thing is, holy cow, can't even make it a lap. You got guys bouncing off the walls and everything.
Just a tough track here.
Pretty sure this front group up here hasn't pitted yet. You got Shane Nicewanger right here.
Well, only one that hasn't. Elliot Henderson has not pitted, and Andrew Lutz has not pitted. Everybody else took a pit. That's what I'm saying. You've got them on different laps. You got some that pitted on lap 17, 19, and then you got some that pitted lap 42, 35. So here's where you get your mix at. But what I was just saying right here, see the 30 machine right there, Daniel. He pitted on lap 42, so he's on the newest set of tires. And what I was talking about earlier is the yellow flag flies. He's going to have some green flag runs, but yellow flag flies. Noah. But just all what he's doing is picking them off one by one. He needs to utilize those tires, get going up to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that I think these short runs of 2, 3 laps, 4 laps, maybe, if we're lucky, kind of help Elliott a little bit. Because since he's been under caution this entire time, obviously not the entire race, not what I meant, but a good chunk of it, he doesn't have a full 57 laps of wear on his tires, because these caution speeds ain't gonna do much to you, realistically speaking.
No.
But like you said, you got Daniel Nanny right here, who's running up front before he pitted, and now he's already coming back up. So I think those fresher tires are going to be a massive factor and have a big impact on your long run speeds and where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
I always think his truck is an Outback truck too. I don't
Which
even
one?
know why.
Which one?
Daniel Nanny's.
Yeah, it's close to
I don't
it.
even
Yeah,
know
black and
why.
white. Yeah, it's black and white. You're right.
I don't even know why I think Outback. It clearly
Oh.
says Defiance right there, but I'm like, Outback Steakhouse.
Good stuff. Maybe you're just hungry. That's what it is. You need to tell your girlfriend to take you out.
I could. I mean, I could be. All I had was a fruit snack today.
A fruit snack. Oh, man, they had a fruit snack. Come on now.
And that was at the shop. And I had that at maybe like 3.
All right, now. You could have made that sound a little more manly and said, "Wow, I had a cheeseburger today." A fruit snack.
I
I
will
hear you.
own my fruit snack all day.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah. Well, I had had some sausage and a Slim Jim.
Slim Jim don't sound too bad right now.
Now
Actually.
that just. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I like fruit snacks. Oh.
I think that at that point I was so hungry.
Yeah,
Since I hadn't eaten all day.
Yeah, eat anything at that point. I've been down that road. Yeah. I
Those
had a
might have been the
donut too. I had a
best tasting
donut.
fruit
Had a
snacks.
donut. Had a donut also. Green flag. We're back at it again here, and talk about food trucks. You got the Hooters machine up there. That's who's that? Andrew Lutz. Yep, Andrew. And we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. We're talking about Ty. Ty got caught up in a wreck earlier on. He's gonna bounce back, and you can just see how unsettled these trucks are down low.
Yeah, sorry, my mind's totally stuck on food now. I'm hungry.
I got you.
But
Oh, bounced off the wall, pancaked it a little bit. And boy, you see Samuel back there trailblazing that thing. And then you see them two trucks up front. Guys are just shoving each other in the wall. Man, it's a demo derby out here right now.
Might as well change it from a half-mile oval to a half-mile figure eight, pretty much.
It is right now. It's a tough one. And it's not really, you know, any hats off to these drivers out here. It's just the way this place is. Very, very tough track. Tough to pass, tough to get around here. You see Jake right there trying to see what he can do. And even on, you know, newer tires or whatnot, it's tough to get around this place and tough to pass. See, man, I tell you what, Ty and them still at each other again. That's a wreck
Yeah, and
waiting to
looking at
happen
a
there.
good chunk of these trucks. A lot of them got front end.
And right there we saw it. I knew that was about to happen. Jake almost got involved in it, but I knew. That pepper machine tried to stop. Couldn't stop. Go back and watch that one again because we knew. I want to show. Come on the replay. Those two guys up there were beating on each other. Very aggressive driving, and I gotta say, you see him just diving down in, and then the truck up the track there. He almost pushes him up to the track, and then those two guys are just leaning on each other, pinching each other in the turns. Not what you want to kind of do early. I would say a little bit early for some aggressive style driving like that. Maybe that's more of your 5 or so laps to go. Makes it exciting for us though.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing all these guys like as if someone's just sitting in the middle twirling a wrecking ball with a crane or something. But no, these guys are racing hard. Does it look like?
And what they got to understand is got a lot, got several laps still to go. Now, attrition will play a factor. Yes, you have a fast fix, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And again, this is the thing. Hey, the leagues have their own rules, and I definitely will respect that because every league is different. The one thing about, if you're new to iRacing, you don't know a lot about iRacing. It's a virtual set of world. They have what they call fast fixes, because basically is if you get in a wreck, you could pretty much you get a retry, you get a whole new car. It's basically like pulling a car off your second backup machine out. The thing about it is it's kind of a double-edged sword, because sometimes it allows for guys to overdrive, and I've seen it in different aspects. I've seen it calm guys down because they know, well, if I tear my truck up, it's all I got. I only got one. But then again, if you've got that fast fix, you're thinking, well, I could drive a little bit harder, et cetera, and I've got that fast fix. The problem now, though, in a race like this, and let's say a bigger track like a 1.5 mile wouldn't be too bad if you wrecked earlier on. Usually you could make it to the end. But a track like this, if you wrecked early on, overdriving or being a little more aggressive or so forth, and you have to use that fast fix. Now, with a place like this, it's kind of one of these tracks that is prone to violence. Let's say it like that. What do you think, Alex? Sounds pretty good. It's prone to those wrecks, and now you're going to have to either one, drive very cautious because you don't have the fast fix, or you're just going to have to just hope for the best. And I think attrition's going to take its place. We're going to start seeing guys just start now. We're at that point where they'll just start dropping out the more that they get involved in wrecks and stuff.
Prone to this kind of violence is a perfect description of everything you were just saying, making that situation able to be happen as a green flag drops now. I want to see what the people on either Facebook or YouTube are thinking about the mentality of a driver with or without the fast fix, and just kind of get them involved a little bit and see what kind of goes, what's going through the viewers' heads.
And that's definitely been it'll be the old thing. Obviously, leagues definitely they vote on that, and some drivers like it, some don't. Obviously, as a broadcaster standpoint of view, I enjoy watching races that don't. It's more of a realistic aspect. And iRacing's all about trying to be as real as you possibly can without spending millions of dollars. But I see where the leagues come from, and I see where it's a touchy subject to where you want to try to give a fighting chance to all your drivers. I mean, you don't want your whole field falling out of the race. But in a race like this, and again, hey, by no means am I taking away from any of these guys out here because they're good. A lot of these guys in this league here are great. They're the Great Lakes Truck Series. It's just a product of a track like this. This track is just, again, treacherous on drivers and cars or trucks.
Yeah, the way I'm kind of looking at it to make myself feel better about all these cautions is that the center of the track is the eye of the hurricane. And the outside and the oval where everyone else is all the winds tearing up all the stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Also each other.
And you can see it. Well, a guy like Elliott Henderson, when you're seeing him up front having a hard time coming through the field on a lot newer tires, he pitted at lap 66. He's got almost 20-some lap newer tires and still coming through the field. Now, he's doing the strategy I talked earlier. Kind of getting a little bit of stretched out green flag run here. Pick them off one by one. You see what he's doing now. And that's kind of the smart way of doing it on a track like this.
Yeah, and based off of what I saw from the restart, I think these guys lined up single file very quick this go around compared to all the last restarts. And like I said, we'll have little contests here and there for position, but now we're not consecutively rolling too deep half the field, and now it seems to be running a little bit smoother as, like you were saying, these newer tires are paying such what seems to be a great factor for Elliott right here as he's making his way up through the field.
Paying dividends now, as long as it stays green.
I like how
it will.
Yeah, and I like how now maybe they all just finally realize they're like, oh, we gotta go single file as quick as we can, or else we're gonna have a race where more than half of our laps are under caution.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be it. I mean, you got to feel they're going to calm down just a little bit. But what we're talking about here with Elliott coming through the field, I mean, he's utilizing those new tires, but he's doing it the right way. He's up to fifth, and if it keeps going like it is, it won't take him long to be up there in the lead. Back here in the back a little bit. He's got to go about 17th, 18th place spot. Get a little side-by-side racing going on. Mark Benda back there in the back. Another thing, you're not going to really see a lot of pristine cars. A lot of them are kind of tore up.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are maybe getting in. Who is that? Jake Miller right there?
Where's that? Jake
He's in
is
fourth.
Jake is in fourth. Now, what I'm noticing here, we got Daniel up front leading. One thing about these green flag runs also is another thing we haven't talked much about tonight is they will, once he catches lap traffic, which he has, pretty much he won't get out of lap traffic too often. So, got to be very careful going around. You see Samuel Hoff right there hanging on the second place spot, doing an outstanding job. Then Austin right there. And you're talking about Jake in the fourth, and Elliott right there behind him. Elliott's trying to run into tire tracks. Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't really think of that when earlier when I said that little thing about lap traffic a little bit, but as you see how beat up Jake's truck is right here, up just on the nose. But yeah, factoring in that they'll be doing racing against lap traffic and they won't really get out of it. I don't know what that spells for the rest of the field, because it could spell one of two things, or maybe three things, who knows. One of them being the leader gets caught up and the people behind him catch him.
We talk about tire wear too there. Talk about tire wear too there, Alex. You know, the last lap of Elliott was a 19.47 to 19.68 of Daniel. So it just shows you what the difference in the tire wear is here, or actually how better newer tires are as opposed to older tires. But you do see Daniel right there. He's had a little bit of clean air. But again, once he gets into the lap traffic, it pretty much, he's going to stay in lap traffic. And it's that old saying, too, that I've said before on short tracks like Martinsville and all those. And once you get into traffic, danger lurks at every corner for the leader.
Absolutely. And what you were saying, Elliott pitted at, what, lap 66 or something like that?
66, yep.
And I believe Daniel Nanny up front pitted in 44?
42.
Something like that?
Yep, 42.
As Elliott now is in second place, sliced his way through the field like it was nothing.
And that's what I was talking about that earlier. Exactly, what the difference in tires would do if it got spread out a little bit and got going for a green flag. And normally tracks, you kind of see a pattern with races. And I kind of had a feeling when I saw what was going on earlier on and how treacherous this place was starting to be early on. Usually you have a kind of few slow cautions early, then you get that long green flag kind of middle ways, and then who knows at the end. It's all's fair in love and racing then.
Hey, sorry, my mic just got unplugged real quick for a second. I
got
moved my
excited.
hand and unplugged everything, and I was like, no!
Got excited.
Yeah, I got it all back.
Oh.
I think the hunger's taking over.
Oh yeah, go grab you a Snickers.
I don't have Snickers, but I got peanut M&Ms that I already brought
There
over.
you go. Hey, those will work.
Yeah, they'll get the job done for now until I can make something a little bit.
Where's your girlfriend at? She's supposed to be making you a sandwich. I'm gonna
She
tell her
lives
you
in
said that, by
another-
the way. I'm gonna tell her you said that. He told me off the air that you need to be making him a sandwich. And that time you slacking. No, I won't say that.
I am not. I'm not agreeing, but I'm not disagreeing.
No.
So we'll leave it at that.
You're in trouble. She's watching the race. You're in trouble. Oh, Lordy. Good battle going on here around 10th place spot, though.
Yeah, she lives in another town, maybe about 40 minutes from here.
Oh, so you feel safe. That's folks. Now there you go. Alex has got the perfect recipe, and whoa, turn around. I think that's the Hooter Mobile. It is. Andrew Lutz kills the Hooters, but Alex has got the perfect recipe for being safe. Move your significant other, girlfriend, wife, or whatever 40 minutes away. Tell you what you want. You have enough time to get out of Dodge. We watch a replay here. He was battling with, looks like Daniel. And again, just those bumps, and you see just whoop, come out of turn, and looks like he missed a wall. Good job.
Yeah, it looks like he saved it pretty well. Didn't seem like he didn't hit him. It was just a bump. But yeah, to go on to my perfect recipe, people, get your notepads out. This is a big one. What I'm about to say. Bobby Boucher said it first. What mama don't know, don't hurt her.
Problem is, we're live.
Yeah.
Man, hey, look, Alex ain't being too stealthy about the deal here, folks. So you better hope that she just don't watch the races. Tune in either way. But hope you're enjoying it so far. I mean, undercost had a long, pretty good green flag run, and I gotta say, the man out front there probably was not wanting to see that one. Elliott opted to. He did come into pits. So Daniel Nanny is going to come out in second. Looks like Noah come up in the third. Jake, well, Noah's in pit road. Jake's coming up the third. Samuel Hoff in fourth. Austin going to move up to fifth. So you think they learned anything on that long green flag run? I think they see now that, hey, look, get this thing and calm down. Be okay.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think they did a good job of going single file first. Really quick off the bat. I mean, that was the longest green flag run we had the entire race.
Yeah, it was.
So we know we can do it. But now that we're done watching out for each other, we got that covered. We need to watch out for the bumps.
Yeah, and then the restart. And another one, we take it back to, remember they were on kind of older style tires. Now they're going to be on newer tires. We've already seen what happens with the newer tires. You feel like you're Superman on them. But again, you've got to use that. Be a little patient. Kind of get them spread out. And then utilize them. But, hey, racer's mentality is, got to get what I can get.
Yeah, that's true. I think. But a lot of the times, too, we say, when you're up front, you usually don't get caught up in all the hubbalabab that happens behind you.
Well, now, we're talking about Pete a lot here on the racetrack. Before we go back green real quick, and actually we'll go back green right here fast. Green flag flies and out front. We talk about the duck truck out there a lot. Well, see this meme out here says, me, do you want the good news or bad news first? Wife, bad. Me, our duck is going to need a bigger castle. The wife, we don't have a duck. Me, about that. Picture of a duck out there in a cardboard castle says Ducky's Kingdom. As we're old Jake into the wall, the pizza truck just got slammed. We was watching that live. He was up front. Watch it one more time and see. He was racing there for second. Wow. One of the top guys, you can already see that thing kind of got a little loose.
You got
Right
guys
there,
behind
right?
him scraping too.
Yeah. Right there door to door with Samuel. And didn't take much. Guys racing the same thing. And, oh, 50 got involved, and then Dr. Pepper guy out there. Whew. Just like that. Caught up in the big one.
Yeah, I think that's what, 2 races already, where we've seen Jake get the short end of the stick. When it comes, was it? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's another race. Not in a row though. Jake's been involved in some stuff, and we know both those pit crews are going to be at the infield care center after the race. Figuratively speaking, obviously.
Oh,
nobody's
yeah, no
going
doubt.
to the care center.
Hopefully
But-
not, yeah.
But
Elliot Henderson, the man out front, though.
yeah, he's back. He means business.
Let's see if we can maintain up front, though. Getting set here to go back. Green flag here tonight. Knoxville Speedway.
Well, I'm pretty sure, like you said, everyone's pretty much evened out. A little bit. I mean, especially after that last pit stop, it's more of an even field instead of maybe a 20 lap difference field. You know,
yeah.
when it comes to tire freshness and all that. So, I mean, that 20 lap fresher tires did him wonders.
Yes.
As you can see, the fall off after that.
And then we were talking about it earlier. I mean, the tires at this place is definitely going to be the be all end all of what you know. It's going to be everything here.
Let's rewind a second back to the duck story.
Okay.
So the husband buys a duck
Duck shows up.
or captures a duck, or the duck's just there.
I guess. I don't know.
One of those three.
Was in a box with a castle. That's all I saw.
Hey, like the guy from Benchwarmers that makes his castle out of peanut butter and cardboard.
There you go.
You just give him a couple pieces of bread, and he's good.
Absolutely.
Green flag, green flag.
Well, let's see what these guys can do here. As Pace truck's in. Green flies at it again here. And Samuel right there looked like he might have had a good plan. I was talking about it right there. He kind of backed off and let those guys up front get single file, and then went single file on his own. And that was a good move, I think, on his part. Just perfect textbook there of what we was talking about. Let it settle down up front. Get single file, and then race your own race. Because this race, under caution, and unfortunately, Christopher involved in this one. But it seems like this place here is more of race to track than the other ones. And he just got a little love tap from the back. Turned it around. Luckily, it didn't hit anything. But again, that was a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Let everything lay out in front of you. Be patient. Go from there, and he did. I saw what Samuel did. Backed off and was going to let it kind of play out. So, hats off. Good heads up move there.
Yeah, after watching him kind of hold his composure like that, and instead of kind of like how you were saying earlier, the racer mentality or whatever is just to get there. get that next guy. He did a great job of demonstrating a good amount of patience and letting everything around him transpire and kind of be hesitant, I guess, while still giving his due diligence to the situation around him. And I think he did a great job of that. As we all just watched, as we were watching him, all of us, and yeah, and he just did a great job going against that mentality that you were talking about earlier, and keeping cool. And I think you were getting into something about here at this track where it's like you were saying something and then the caution flew.
This track here is more of a you're racing more of the track here than you are the guys around. It goes back to almost like the road racing mentality, where in road racing you race more of the track, the time, than you do more so the cars around you. Not saying that you don't race them, but you're doing more of the track. Kind of the same scenario here. Sure, you are racing the other competitors here, and you're trying to outbest them, but as treacherous as this place is, I think you got to use a little more strategy. Seeing it there, I mean, we saw it with Samuel. Kind of like, okay, let me set it up. Let me set up what I got to do instead of just kind of brute strength, kind of outdrive everything. I got to use a little more finesse here on this track.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to take into account too is if you watched, it was like in that first lap, it looked like everyone went pretty much straight to single file, or looked like they were at least attempting to.
Good strategy.
And I like that. I think that's what will bring us those longer green flag runs and keep the race cleaner instead of the up-teens caution that we've had this evening, and kind of negate those as much as possible. And I hope they do it again on this one. I think everyone finally got the feel for that, at least, and that they're going to be rolling pretty good with that.
And it can only happen, for a certain amount. I mean, obviously, at some point, you're going to stay side by side. I mean, that's just a product of racing, a product of what this track is here. So, you see Shane and them up front. Elliott's right there along with them. Samuel Hoff and company, as green flag flies, we're back at it again. And see him again trying to get single file up there. Oh, car around the back.
You got a bunch of them in that one.
Another 25 was involved in it. Brandon Berkuski, back in whites. Happened to him.
He's got that Junior Bud truck. Uh-oh, the duck truck wants to be freed from the admins.
And came up our looks probably just got involved with it. Several other trucks got around too. Wow. Nowhere to go once you start seeing trucks just go all over the place.
Gosh, I don't know why. I want to keep screaming Outback when I see that truck. It just overcomes me, and I'm like, Outback. Oh. I don't know what's going through my head.
Well,
maybe it's because is that like a bowl or something on the side, on the hood?
got a really close up on it or not. Yeah, it is a bull on the side.
It is. It is. You get steak from cows. Outback.
Absolutely.
Like I said. So it's an underlying paint scheme. It's an Outback paint scheme.
Well, he's not doing bad tonight. He's up to third, and he's been able to maintain right there. And obviously, Elliott out front. If you're out front, you probably don't mind too many of the cautions because you get to control the field. And you just get kind of, it's not like a Daytona or Talladega where, you know, you've been out front, it's kind of sitting duck. But here you really can control the field. See what these guys can do.
Yeah, hopefully we keep it green a little bit longer than that split second that one was, but I thought I saw people trying to make it single file, so I think they're all on the same page pretty much now. But like you're saying, Daniel Nanny's been doing good about keeping up front pretty much the entire race. He's been strong. So is Austin and Sam and Elliott. Elliott who? Just kidding. Everyone knows who he is.
Oh, he's doing an outside job out there. Doing an outstanding job.
Absolutely. Can't keep his name out of our mouths. You got Shane coming up too in his pretty blue truck right there. Oh, I skipped Gavin. Right? Right? Yeah, Gavin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Gavin's made it up there. Run for him. Bouncing back up. And there's another thing. You might see some new guys come up in a race like this. Jump up here. Green flag's back at it again. Let's see how fast they get back on the single file. You can see Austin right there trying to get what he can get. And Samuel's going to dive down single file. Front runners, they all get there. Andrew Lutz back there. He's back up in the 6th. Won earlier on. The Noah back in the 7th place spot. And look who's coming on strong. Uses fast fix we was talking about earlier. Jake back up to 10th and 11th. And just like that, though, on pit road. Do you have a penalty?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Does somebody out there listening or watching shoot me a message on what happened to Jake? Did he have a penalty? You see way back here in about the 15th place spot, you get old Pete back there battling out with Jordan and Mark Binda and company back there. Christopher, remember earlier on, he got caught up in a wreck. Been able to maintain. He's up to 11th. The one thing about a race like this too, we was talking about, and I've been in races like this where, you know, tough track, tough environment, you know, a lot of cautions. The one thing about it is if you are a very patient driver, usually, and I'm not going to say it's a winning combination, but usually, as long as you stay out of trouble, and you're just very patient, riding your own race, you come out of here with a good finish. And I think that's what Chris right there, you know, obviously got caught in a few things early on, but being patient. His truck looks pretty clean right now. He's obviously had to use a fast fix him earlier, but if he could just stay out of trouble, ride around, and he's up to 10th and 11th right now, he could find himself very easily and, you know, marred really well up into the top 10. That's just kind of how these places, you know, kind of pan out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely like that idea of patience that you hit on. Right?
Yeah.
You said patience. I'm not over here like hearing things, am I?
No, patience definitely is what you've got to have. I mean, when you talk about race car drivers and patience, it is again, it goes back to that double-edged sword. You know, a lot of them are like, what you talking about is racing, you got to go. Sometimes though, you definitely do. And you see right here with Christopher, like I said, just methodically, you know, one by one. He does have, you know, a newer set of tires than a lot of these guys, but one by one, picking them off and taking them. And Samuel out there, I see what you're saying. You know, not what you want, a little off there, but hey, I want to blame the track more so than the drivers out here. This track is a tough one, and you just see the 9 machine right there. Basically, Hunter just overdrove the turn. You saw him dive it down on the inside, and it takes me back to that patience. And Hunter, here's another thing, was on newer tires than those guys that was in front of him. He's on the same amount of tires that Christopher was on, but just overdrove it. And again, even Samuel out there knows that you feel like you're Superman with new tires, and sometimes get yourself in trouble.
So yeah, patience was a word I heard. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Throw that word around a lot. Yeah.
Like that winning formula, whatever you want to call it, the secret Krabby Patty formula, whatever you want to call it, right?
There you go.
No, I think a lot of it comes with patience is a big one, discipline, another one. Experience. Because I know for a fact, if I was out there and this was my first ever season and I was in this league, I would not be doing too hot.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'd get suspended.
Oh, okay.
Just because that's just me as a new guy maybe coming in, not knowing what it actually feels like being in the race like this. And feeling that, oh, I can do it. I can get there. But I don't think I have the mental fortitude and experience that a lot of these guys have after doing this for as long as they have, at the levels that they have, to be like, oh, let me just take a chill pill. Let me sit here and wait it out a little bit, and then I'll make my move. Unless I already end up there somehow. You know?
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. And definitely at a track like this, it's going to be very hard to have a like you just said, a winning move, because place is just trying to figure out the word I'm going to use here. This track again, they don't run on it in real life. I'm not sure how many runs they do a lot in iRacing, and how well the setup is. I mean, we can see already that this track it's a tough one. I mean, it is. I mean, my hat's off to these guys out here trying to modulate these trucks around this place.
Yeah, I feel like this track throws these trucks around more than Rockingham.
Yes. Rockingham's a tough place too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that was one of my first ones being on here in the broadcast with you, and that I thought that was
wait
crazy.
a minute. Samuel around. He was up front. What happened to him here? Watch this replay here. He had a little help, spun the tires maybe. Like he spun the tires. Got around on him. That'll mar him back into traffic.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like to me. It looked like he just tried to do a donut. I mean, didn't try to. I mean, he kind of did, but it was probably unintentional.
No. Yeah.
But we're closing in on 50 laps to go or so in this race. I wonder how people are going to go about their last or second to last pit cycle or two. And see kind of what some of these guys are thinking.
And I'm with you. Some of these guys out here, let's look. They pitted at lap 161. We know fuel-wise will go 60-some laps. Got a lot of them out here at pitted lap 136, so they're going to be right there on that margin. We're right there on the pit window, but again, that's if this thing goes green the entire way. And, you know, again, nothing against the drivers or the league out here, because these guys are great. With the way this track has been tonight, kind of just don't feel like that's going to happen. And when I say that, I mean, it's not that I'm saying, oh Lord, these guys are very bad, you know, they're bad drivers, you know, they can't do. No, this is, again, I have done broadcasts with guys that are pro drivers, or supposedly pro drivers on the iRacing, and they would have just as much trouble. So this track is just, it's just like anything in real life, Alex. You've seen it. I mean, you've seen real races at like Phoenix and Martinsville and stuff, and you know, even the real guys have trouble on you know, certain conditions. I think with these conditions out here and the way this track is, and probably you couple that with the setup, yeah, a lot of these guys will probably say, man, let's just survive this race.
Yeah, that's a great point. Being as I think it's way more the track than really anything else.
We're not going green.
Right.
So we were just at the Tricky Triangle in the Great Lakes Cup Series this past Saturday. Now the Great Lakes may have taken a turn from the Tricky Triangle to just a tricky track. Because this one is, it is a handful. This track is trouble. And like you were saying, nothing against these guys. Absolutely nothing against them. Got a great league going on right here. A lot of great dudes. Some guys who I just met doing this, who I found out don't live that far away from me back home.
Yeah.
Who, he knows who he is. He owes me a snowmobile lesson. But I think it's a track. Track's tricky as we go back to green.
Well, let's see right here. You see Elliot Henderson. He pitted on lap 136. He's got a newer set of tires than anybody else, and unfortunately, Pete's around in the back. Let's go back and watch. Lapping old Pete back here. Back here with Sam. Chris White too, and it just looks like he lost it going into the turn. Almost had it saved, overcorrected a little bit. Luckily did not get capped by nobody. But again, go back to Blaze. Very, 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 very slick.
Yeah, this track is just crazy. I think a huge thing about, here's how I envision NASCAR in real life. If I were to do it, I would do it, one, because I've been a fan my whole life. I think it would be so cool to get behind the wheel. Two, I think I would have an absolute blast doing it. Because in the big scheme of things, just like any professional sport, it's just a game. And that's just how my mind works.
Okay.
So if I don't have fun in this game, right? And that's what I think a lot of people overlook, is that in reality it's literally just a game. And a little philosophical there for you. But I don't think that these dudes are having that good of a time here. I don't think it's a fun race.
And some tracks, you're right. Some tracks you you're better at than others. You see some drivers are better at than others. Some they enjoy them better than others. And you're absolutely right. And but you get into some tracks and some races, and then even in real life, drivers will say, "Well, I just don't like this track. You know, I'm not a fan of it. I don't do well here." And it happens here on the sim here at iRacing too. There's just some tracks you just don't care for, and some tracks you're better at than others. But then I go back to also, as long as you can stay out of trouble here on a track like this and just be patient, come out of here with a good finish. And I really think that's what some of these guys are trying to do. Now, with that said, we know racers, they want to win. And they're going to try to do what they can do. And we talked about Christopher earlier. I was talking about him. Well, look at this. I mean, he's up to 5th. I said earlier with a guy like that, he got caught up in a wreck earlier on. He's probably had to use his fast fix, but now he's being patient, and he's back up to 5th. And I'm not saying it might be the winning formula, but you never know. It could be. You know, right place, right time. But it has gotten him in the top 5 so far. And you can see him right there on that start. He did not push the envelope. He's kind of letting everything in front of him settle down. That's smart, because you can see there's guys in front of him 3 wide. And Elliott Henderson wanting to go hard to the front. He's wanting to get out front to get away from these guys. But, yeah, I got to look at Christopher back there. I think he's more of, let's be patient, and then Christopher comes on pit road for somewhere. And Jake is around. He's not having the night he wants. Oh, looks like Pete right there spun in front of him, and Jake nowhere to go.
Oof. There was this little train game I used to play on the computer.
Okay.
This was back in the day when I had Windows, so I could have had iRacing way back in the day. Who knows? Now I don't, obviously, because I got Apple, and it's a lot harder to configure and get all that jazz. But I think it was like one of the first video games I ever played. And you managed a train yard. And when you got 2 trains to crash into each other, it would stop. There would be an explosion, like a little explosion, like it was a kid's game. So it's nothing like astronomical explosions or nothing like that, right? And it'd go, "Oh, that's a fender bender." And that's what I'm thinking watching Jake, as unfortunately, like you said, he's not having the best of luck here at this racetrack, along with a good majority of this field. A lot of people, I think, are struggling with, 1, the track itself. 2, I think it took them everyone about maybe 60 to 80 laps to maybe get on the same page, where it be to, like, calm it down a little bit, you know? But also, there's you had nowhere to go, dude. That was your destiny to hit them. That's been the case a couple of times for some of these guys, unfortunately, and that's just how racing goes sometimes. But I was looking back at the restart as you were talking about Chris. Nope. Yeah, it was Chris Heller, right?
Yes.
Yeah. About how patient he was being and how he was doing such a great job, which he absolutely was. And as you're saying that, I'm watching Elliott just slice and dice and make these moves that I think are a little gutsy, but they paid off for him. Like, now he's sitting in second, and like you said, he's doing it, and he's being aggressive, and we all know Elliott knows what he can and can't do. So, but And he did exactly what you said you thought he was doing, and that being get away from the trouble behind you.
Yeah.
And now he's sitting front row.
Go.
So that's just two completely different sides of the coin. And still unknown why Chris Heller came down pit road that go round. But that's two completely different sides of the coin from close to the same position on the track.
What's that?
And it's just neat stuff to see as we're going back green now and we're going back yellow now.
Back green and yeah, Jordan Gonzalez in the back here. Let's see what happened to old Jordan. Right here. Jordan into 3 and it just didn't get going. Not sure if he missed a gear and just got pushed out of the way.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know. I thought he was gonna be all right with that, but no, I didn't think it was gonna be all right. I don't even know what I just said. But, anyways, continuing on. No, yeah, like you said, it looked like he just didn't get going. I don't even know if at that point if you could like spin the tires or something in the middle of the turn or something. I don't even know. I don't know how that works.
Who knows?
But, yeah, he just got ran over.
Yeah, he did, and I hate that on his end. We'll have to see. Guys, right now, Daniel still hanging on the 3rd. You got Elliott right there in 2nd. And Brandon Perkuski. Wow, what a good run for him again. Newer guy jump up here and win this thing.
After his technical difficulties last week with not being able to get back into the race or whatever, he's back with a vengeance.
It is. So what's y'all's insight out there on who do y'all think is the standout so far? What do you feel about this track so far? Because the viewers out there, see what they're thinking about this place.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the YouTube. See if that comes up with anything. Got the live chat
There
for
you
the
go.
YouTube on my TV right there. But I'm not seeing much.
It's all right. But like I said, just one of those things that a lot of these guys definitely will they'll remember on a track like this. One, I don't know, probably not one of the most favorites. It'll be interesting on some of the interviews who pulls this thing off, and I got a feeling if Elliott can get a good longer green flag run like we had earlier, he can utilize those tires. And I'm not going to say he's not going to try to utilize them here on this restart, because he might think, well, with the cautions like they are, I'm not going to have too many opportunities to try to get up here. He might try to press this issue right now.
Green, green, green.
Brandon gets a good jump.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he's going to be, especially taking advantage of the line he's got, being on the inside. I think he does very well on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's going to take advantage of it. But I do see my first comment on the YouTube right now, Sam Hoff, saying not a big fan of the track.
That's all that is. Yeah. Well, and again, when that takes us back there, and you saw Brandon Perkuski go back to second as the yellow flies. Gavin, unfortunately, involved in this one. Oh, not quite sure. And that thing saved. Not sure why he stayed still. Probably could have went going and we probably wouldn't have went under caution. So now that's another thing I gotta say. Some got the heads up. But I will say, at least he didn't wreck. He didn't want to wreck. So, but it looks like Brandon was able to hang on to the lead. I thought Elliott got around him. Brandon's still able to hang on up front here. Elliott right there. And again, it'll be interesting to hear the top three guys of, do you like this place? Are you glad it's over with? What's the feeling on it? Obviously, Samuel out there is talking about he don't like it, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, on that restart, it looked like Brandon got a really good jump off the restart, and Elliott just was like, oh, hey, where's that guy going? As we have Bedford Racing right here saying, hate to be blunt, but not looking good, guys. LOL.
Bedford Racing. Yeah, well, hey, again, take it back to the track. Place. Wow. I mean, that's all I got to say is it's a tough one. So it really is. It's about all that. It sums it up here. Is a lot of it is a product of this track.
I don't know if we'll be seeing much, if anything, of this track from here on out.
Well, yeah, that'd be Sam and them's deal on a while to see what they come up with.
Yeah, maybe I'll bug the chat and see if we can get some insider information from their side of the house, Usually just poke in post race. I think it's really cool seeing how like these admin guys, they are on top of it. Because I'll go in after both this race, the Truck Series race on Tuesdays, and the Cup race on Saturdays. And immediately after the race, the admins are all together going back through the race and picking pieces apart about the race, like going through all the stuff, making sure the points are good, making sure that penalties are issued. We're not saying I'm biased by the free Pete. But anyways, these guys are on top of it, and they're running a great league here. These guys are awesome, good dudes, all very open. Glad to talk to you, like especially me if I have any questions that I've asked any of these dudes. I've always been more than willing to help. But did we just start that restart single file?
I think we did, and I think that's probably a very smart move on their end. You don't see that a lot. That's old school, taking it way back to the day. And that probably will calm down a little bit of what's going on here. And again, it takes it back to now these guys can pick them off one by one. You see Elliott Henderson going for the lead, and Brandon's going to be like, you guys are a lot faster than him. Take it off. Daniel and them. Now, Daniel and Elliott are on the same set of tires, so here we go. And unfortunately, Christopher's around in the back. Uh-oh, caution out. What happened to Christopher? What happened to old Christopher right here? Man, I tell you what, he was having a good run too. And truck in front of him just got loose, nowhere to go, and oh, he slams the wall hard.
As I'm hitting my shift button and talking, which is not the button I need to talk. But yeah, I was sitting there for like 5 seconds saying something. I was like, wait, I'm not talking. But
Yeah.
I think this restart will be very interesting because, like you said, Elliot Henderson and Daniel Nanny right here on the same tires. And Daniel was right on Elliot's bumper, passing Brandon right there. So that strikes my curiosity bone a little bit, seeing as now they're going to be side by side.
And they're both on the
So-
same set of tires. That's another thing to keep in mind as far as lap wise. So that's another thing to keep there. What's going to be the strategy with them? What are they going to do?
I don't know. You had a couple guys go down the pits, right? You got Brandon in the pits. You got some guys going, maybe taking their gamble shot now.
Absolutely.
See how things are going to roll. Especially if we get maybe we could green flag it out. See those guys pitting right now. Make a last ditch effort. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, especially here. I couldn't even tell you what's going to happen in the next half a lap, and we're under caution.
Yes. Well, we're getting down to the closing laps here to see who's going to pull this thing off tonight. I know whoever pulls it off is probably going to be going, "Phew, I made it through." Knoxville has not been the kindest to these guys here tonight. Been a little harsh on them.
It absolutely has not. It has been very difficult. Yeah, this is just a tough race. Thinking about it, one, it's a tough track. Two, you're dealing with a metric boatload of cautions. And I can't imagine how frustrating it is running into someone when you're just kind of stuck there and you had no shot of dodging it.
Yeah.
So there's just a bunch of stuff happening. I think they made the right call. Oh, see, here I go. I was like, oh, they're starting side by side, and then I'm like, oh,
I think it's the right call to go single file. I really do.
Yeah,
I think it is at some point. They do this in dirt a lot. If have a few cautions or whatnot, they'll take them single file. But Elliott right now, it does benefit him a lot though on a single file run to get out there. Trucks around in the back. We'll have to see what happens to them. See right now, Daniel's trying to get up there. Let's go back here around fifth place spot because you got Samuel Hoff. He's got a good side-by-side going on. And I tell you what, we ain't really talked about old Shane Nicewanger. Been quiet. And he's up there in the top 5 so far.
Yeah, he's been that little fly on the wall that's just sitting there, biding his time, waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been chilling about mid-top 10, 5th place or so, 5th, 6th or so, kind of where he's at right now for a little while. But I know he's been having a nice, strong top 10 run pretty much the entire night, as they're getting pretty close right there in the turn.
Yeah, best
These
battle
guys
going
got a
on the
real
track
strong
right now.
battle
Yeah.
going on.
Best one happening right now on the track. Oh, and then you just see some beating and banging right there. Oof, I'm gonna tell you, that's Hunter, and Hunter's probably going to remember that. When he gets back up there, we got 18 to go. Wow. Aggressive driving.
Yeah, and still he just comes right back, and talking about Hunter right here. He's just coming right back, and he's like, hey, don't count me out. I think he's one of the newer guys to the series. Maybe. I don't remember seeing him last season for the trucks, but he's still competing with these guys for this 4th place battle we got going on.
And Sam is on pit road.
Pitting.
Not sure, but we got a battle for the lead. Daniel's going to go up on the inside. Now, these guys have got equal tires up here. So it's pretty much going to be driving. Look at that. We can almost check that up as a slide job on him.
Yeah, a little bit, but Elliott just ducks down low and is like, "Jaha, nope, gotta fight for it, buddy."
No, and I thought he had it for a minute, and then Daniel had to slide up the track into the wall. Just overdrove it a little bit right there. Elliott was able to hang on to it. What a race up front.
Yeah, and Daniel honestly didn't lose as much ground as I thought he might have. I mean, he lost a good, two, as he's coming sliding off the corner right there.
Yeah. You talk about
But
Brandon
he's got-
Burkuski. Out there, Bedford Racing's talking about Brandon Burkuski. He pitted on lap 175. And I don't know time-wise. Let's see, he's not running as fast as the guys up front. So even with those newer tires, definitely not giving him the speed. Elliott Henderson is laying down some awesome lap times. Daniel's trying to get him back. It might pay dividends on him. I hate to bring it up, but he would need one more caution to close in the field just a little bit, I think, in order to utilize those newer tires.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing he ain't got the time.
Time's probably, it's not on his side, like we were saying. No, not with only 10 to go, but Daniel's still riding right here in second place, and Austin back there in third. Got Shane hanging on to the fourth place spot right now. Hunter up to fifth. Brandon, I mean, he could pick up some more positions though. He might crack the top 5 at least. Cody there in 7th. Uncle Pete, he's done powered back up to 8. I was talking about being patient. Mark having a good run. Gavin right there firing on back. Guys tonight that been really quiet and just kind of stayed where they are, but all Elliott right now.
Yeah, it looks like Daniel's sitting at about a second back, just about. It would take a few hundredths or thousandths of a second, depending on where we're at. Oh, now he crosses the line.
Elliott Henderson has turned the wick up. He's running about 2/10 faster than anyone here on the field right now. So, wow, good run. And Brandon Burkuski, like we said, has cracked the top 5. I think he might could get that 4th place spot too.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to where he restarted on that last restart, because I know he came down the pits on, like you said, 175 or whatever it was. And so I don't know where he restarted though. But now he's got Shane in his sights with 5 laps to go.
High to go here.
I think those tires will do it.
Good. Very well. I think he's going to get up into that 4th place spot. Change right there. Brandon looking on his back end, and this is a good move here on his end. Don't push it. Been very patient on the inside to make the pass. Really pushing the envelope too much. I think he knows he's got newer tires. Going to be able to get it. No, we got a car around. Looks like Andrew Lutz. Hopefully he tows that thing back in. Don't cause a caution.
Yeah, and Brandon does a great job right there, like you said, of letting what's happening around him transpire. He knows he has those newer tires.
Oh,
as
contact.
Shane goes around now.
Yeah,
But
right
we're on
there
the
was
final lap.
white flag. Doesn't matter what happens, they could kill each other out here. Well, watch this battle here because Hunter was able to close in on him. As we say, Elliott right there has a huge lead. He's going to come out of turn 4 and win this one here. Daniel's going to come up home in second. And Brandon Perkuski out of turn 4 is going to hang on to the 4th place. And Austin's going to come home in 3rd here tonight.
What a doozy.
Wow. Right. Can't get some of these guys and get a word with them. Hats off to them. And I know a lot of these guys are probably going, well, we're done. Thankfully, we're out of this one. Just a tough track here tonight for these guys. Austin.
He's got me somewhere. Oh, there he is.
Got Elliott, but I can't see him. Trying to find Austin.
Austin's in there waiting.
Oh, he's in the waiting room? Okay. Well, let's bring up 3rd place man Austin here. Let's get a word with him.
Austin, it's Alex up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. Do you got me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear. Hey, what? I don't even know where to start, if I'm being honest. What a crazy race. What's running through your head over the course of this race?
Definitely was an adventurous one, that's for sure. Tons of cautions. Just wish it was a little cleaner out there. I don't know what the longest green flag run we had, but it ultimately became about survival. I don't know about you guys, but that was definitely a long one.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a long one. This track seems real tricky. Could you kind of run us through like what you think maybe is the trickiest part of this track? Because it seems like there were a lot of issues with just the track itself.
Yeah, the track's definitely tricky. The thing is, on old tires, there's just no room to pass. So you have to make all your moves as quick as you can on fresh tires, because eventually everyone's just going to run up in the one top lane. So it's just trying to get an advantage, and hopefully someone messes up in front of you. But it all just ends up just trying to get that extra edge on that person ahead of you. But yeah, it seems like, it's a pretty tricky track. It kind of drives like North Wilkesboro to me, but overall, it seems like a one-lane race.
Another track which I know absolutely nothing about, so we'll chalk that up to I don't know. But dude, you got a nice 3rd place finish. Sitting right now before tonight's race, sitting about eighth in the points. Get you some good points right there in the standings. You got anybody you want to thank or shout out for this race?
I just want to thank everyone at Split Second Esports for giving me the chance once more to run this. Another top 5 for everyone. Good win for Elliott. Good run for Elliott Henderson Racing. Shout out DL Performance and of course my wife. Especially thanks to you guys for sticking around for that long one. We were all kind of thinking that the broadcasters were falling asleep at this point. So thanks for putting on a show for us.
Hey man, well, we appreciate you guys sticking with it in the race. Definitely know was, I'd say, a rough first 70 or 80 laps until you guys got ahead and was like, oh, hey, maybe we should do this or whatever. But like I said, I don't know what was running through your guys' minds and how that goes, because we're not in the team chats or whatnot. But nice 3rd place finish, man. You had a strong truck pretty much the entire night, running up towards the front and coming in with a strong 3rd place finish.
Again, that was a good time. I'm just glad I was able to keep it up front for the last 50 or 60 laps after we made the pit stop, but everything worked out for me.
Yeah, man. Well, glad to have you up here. Congrats on your 3rd place finish. Very nice to a nice finish to a rough race, I'll say. So thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a good one.
Here you go, 3rd place man, Austin. Got here, Daniel Nan. He tried there at the end to get it, but a little bit short here. Bring him up here and let's get a word with him.
Hey, Daniel, it's Alex in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you had a super strong truck throughout the night. What were you thinking coming in, let's say, for that last restart, coming into that green flag stretch as you're running neck and neck with Elliott for the win?
Oh man, I was nervous. I was hoping I can get around him on the outside until unfortunately I got too tight with the lap cars in front of us and I hit the wall. But that whole final restart was really fun. It was the two best of the race, battling out for the win. And unfortunately, I just came one short. And hopefully, next week I can come out on top.
Absolutely, man. What'd you think about that little switch up where you guys went from that double file restart to that single file? How did that either help or hurt you? Maybe not just you, but maybe the entire field or so. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, with all the cautions happening, I think we've paced over 90 laps or so under caution, which was quite disappointing, unfortunately. But I like to change up. We were able to get that last 30 or 20 laps in green flag, and I think it was necessary for all the people that were wrecking.
Yeah, and like you said, it was real nice to see, especially up here, seeing that long green flag to end the race, especially with that awesome battle you had going on with Elliott pretty much the entire time. He pulled you right past from your third place position. You just passed who I think it was Brandon, and you guys just rode right past him, and you guys just kept duking it out. That was pretty exciting stuff for us to see up here, and I mean, definitely a nail biter. You got anybody you want to shout out or thank for this race?
I want to give a shout out to the owners, Sam and Bakutsi for making this, possible for the race. And I got to give a shout out to my team, Defense Racing Team, for, cheering me on at the end there. Unfortunately, most of my teammates crash out, but I was lucky enough to burn out top 2 finish for them. I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting this because, it's been a very, very nice honor to race here, be able to showcase what we can be capable of when we go green flag racing. But, I have to thank everybody else in the racing league too.
Yeah, man, like you said, coming up with a super strong second place finish after we'll call it a war-torn race. So definitely good to see it. Had a great truck all night. So glad to have you up here with us, man. We'll hear from you hopefully sometime soon.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope to see you guys next week.
There we go. Second place, man. Daniel, man, doing what he can do to get up there. But this guy here had it on lockdown. Elliott Henderson. Elliott, join the boot car copy.
What's going on, Joe?
Well, I got to ask, are you happy it's over? I mean, you put it in victory lane. I know you're happy about that, but I mean, what about the race?
It's not. It wasn't quick enough. I think. I was about to put up a tweet, and what I was typing was that was a race. Well, maybe it wasn't even that. Yeah, I'm sorry for you guys to have to sit there and watch what that was. But I think the last 20 laps kind of showed a little bit extra, and we still gave you guys a bit of a show there between Nanny and I. So you got a little bit of everything, but you got a lot of wrecks. So there's that.
Yeah, well, and it gave us time to talk about a lot, and we explained throughout the entire the broadcast here is a lot of this track. From what I saw from our standpoint, it's just one of these tracks. It's just it's a tough place to be at, and coming from a driver's standpoint, it'd be interesting as how did you feel about the track? Because from what we saw, the trucks just were not kind of evil handling. It was just a mean place to be at.
I don't know. I think I'm 50-50 on it. I like the track. I like having a race. I like the fact that it's kind of difficult to pass at times. But I think the biggest issue with short tracks and iRacing is just kind of the awareness of pit stops and strategies and stuff. I think, the guys that stay out on the old tires, and I was one of them tonight. I did it for the first 60 laps. I think I didn't pit. I went out the longest. So, I give people crap for that all the time, but I think it worked tonight for me because the track position was a big deal. And I think that when people try those strategies, it mixes people up a lot. And the fresh tires were really, really fast compared to the old tires. And I just think that kind of gives you that thing where no one wants to give when they can take and stuff like that. So the fresh tire guys are trying to charge up through the field, and the old tire guys are just trying to maintain their spots, and you get that battle at the end. But I don't know. Luckily, I was in front of a lot of it, and when I did actually pit the one time and drop back, I was able to cleanly make my way back up. It was the one time that we had the longest run, so I didn't specifically, personally see anything that went wrong exactly, but I think it's a lot of aggression and maybe a little bit of lack of patience and lack of I'm not going to say it's a lack of talent level, because I think a lot of these guys are really good at what they do. We put on a lot of good races recently. I just think it's a little bit of that patience, and they don't really treat it as a short track and that give and take. They just want to take, and you can't really can't race like that. Especially at the end, you saw how I let Nanny go and then cross him up. Like, you got to be smart and methodical with all your choices, and you can't just sit there and drive it down into the corner and pray that it sticks, because 9 times out of 10 it probably won't, and you'll just drive up into someone.
And when I tell you what, when you go back, if anybody goes back and watches the broadcast, a lot of what you said was a lot of what we were talking about too here was definitely patience, setting it up, going single file, letting those guys get single file, then picking them off one by one. We seen you do that earlier in the race and utilize your new tires as opposed to the older tires. But it paid off, paid dividends. You was able to stay out of trouble at the end of the day and win it here in Victory Lane for the Great Lakes Truck Series. You got anybody you want to thank for an awesome win?
I needed to get a list of my teammates down, but I think I'm going to mess that up again tonight. I'll try. Let's just take a second here. So Eric Kepf, Peter Akimano, Shane Niswanger, Ty Aiken, Christopher Heller, Jake Miller, myself, Briar Fritz, Tyler McClellan, Austin Moore. Those are all the guys that are yelling in my ear and yelling in each other's ears throughout the race. So it's a lot going on that we're trying to deal with and work out strategies. But thanks to all those guys for sticking it out. I appreciate every last one of them and everything that they put in. Thanks to Grid Esports, Split Second Esports, those two teams, and we'll just thanks to you guys, thanks to Sam, and we'll see where this goes from here on out. I know we've got a road course next week, but I'm sure what you saw tonight is not what you'll see in the future. I know these guys can clean it up. We've had some really good races, like I said, so I think you're going to get some really good racing here as we move forward, and we'll just chalk this one up as another mistake and maybe not come back anytime soon.
You said that too, and again, I just got to chalk a lot of it up to the track. It's nothing, you guys out here, if anybody's watched any of y'all's races, y'all definitely puts on some great shows. I take it back to the track, but hey, you were able to outlast the carnage that went on here tonight, and you were able just to kind of maybe outsmart them a little bit too there in the end with some pit strategies and put it out front and win it here. Again, congratulations on that win there, Elliot.
Yeah, I mean, the pit strategy was something. I also just want to shout out Daniel Nanny. Like, I don't give him enough credit. I've raced him before at Rockingham and stuff. Dude's really fast. Yeah. I had fun with him tonight. I look forward to he's really good on these short tracks, so I look forward to battling out with him. I know Jake wasn't really much of a factor after his pit stop went wrong, or I think he got swept up in something. But Nanny was a ton of fun to race and race clean, and I hope we put on a decent amount of a show at the end there.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, now was another one, hard charging coming through. You definitely was on the same pit cycle, and definitely exciting there. I mean, it again got to go back to just being one of those tracks, and next week go road course racing. But hey, again, congratulations there, Elliot.
Thank you, guys.
There we go. Elliot Henderson putting in Victory Lane. Well, Alex, I tell you what, like we said, just one of these places, and we heard the drivers, just a track that's really just tough to get around. And nothing against any of these drivers out here on this track. I think it's just more or less the place that we came here to. And Elliot was able to hold it off. Hey, good run, baby. Got any final words?
After this war-torn race, thanks to those who stuck it out. I'll say that. Thanks to those who stuck it out watching the race. Definitely glad to be up here with you, Joe. Glad to be doing this. Like Elliot said, great group of guys in this series. So, yeah, just on to the next for next week. Hopefully it's a little better, which I'm guessing, as just like Elliot said, it'll be better. They can clean it up. They can do a lot better. But also, like you say, it seemed like it was a battle against the track today.
It was, and we're going to leave it at that. It pretty much was a battle, and like you said, we're going to throw the exciting things. It gives us good chance to talk about a lot of things here in the league. The guys here at the Great Lakes Truck Series. There's just some tracks that are worse than others, and some guys are able to figure it out at the end of the day, and Elliott was one of them. So for myself and everybody up here, appreciate everybody tuning in. Everyone, have a good night.